Jellord game.
Greetings, friends. Oh, I think I got. There we go. Just me fondling my cockamamie setup again here, as you all know. I'm streaming on games on streaming. Oh, right. I gotta put down that there thumbnail, my friends. This is always the shit that I forget to do. But that's okay. We'll hit you with that. No, we'll hit you with that. Let's see here. So, I hope everyone is well. Hope everyone's hanging in there, living that dream, not waking up from that dream, you know. I think we'll go with this one today. That's good. That's going to be the one. I'm reusing another thumbnail, but I don't give a shit because the last one got 12 views. So it's like a new thumbnail basically, you know? Since nobody looked at it, it's like a new thumbnail. That's my attitude. I mean, shit. If the video gets any exposure, people won't even fucking realize that I reused it, right? Okay, so we're gonna refresh here, make sure I'm actually live, because that's always like, that's my attitude. Good. I mean, shit. Perfect. If the video gets any exposure, people mute that shit. Okay. My lords. I've been a crazy man this morning and started streaming at 2 a.m., but mostly it's because I fell asleep at just like a stupid time today. Like I had to do, it's weird, like I had to do like some work from home shit, which I've never really had a job where I had to do that kind of shit. And so I got up this morning pretty early and I had to take care, make some phone calls, stuff like that. And went to the store, a bunch of other stupid bullshit, and it was pretty much. I got home and it was like 5 p.m. and I was like, yeah, fuck it, I'm just gonna take a nap, you know? And I did. I took a nap and I woke up at like 9 p.m. So I fucked that one up. And then that was it. After that, I got up and I started playing video games and hanging out, listening to other people's live streams and thinking about random stupid horse shit. And mostly I've been playing Castlevania. I've been playing, let's take a look, huh? I got it right here, so it's like for funsies. I've been playing Circle of the Moon. Yeah, this is still my original copy that I bought back in the day when the Evil Never Dies. Yeah, when it originally came out, this was one of two of the launch titles. Actually, it was Castlevania: Circle of the Moon, and then we also had F-Zero. Let me get this straight. Maximum Velocity. Yeah. Also another pretty cool game. Although I will admit it was a subtle departure from the original F-Zero. Didn't quite play the same. Much more difficult, I would say. I was actually able to beat the original F-Zero on all the difficulties and get through all the tracks. But yeah, I think it is so weird. I might make like a little video about it or talk about it some more, but like I have not. So since that was my original game, and one of these nights, I guess maybe I'll do a playthrough once I unlock Thief mode. But Circle of the Moon, oddly enough, for being a release title on the Game Boy Advance, for being pretty much the first return to like a Metroidvania style game since Symphony of the Night, if I'm not mistaken. It had the most gameplay modes out of any Castlevania, I believe. Because there was, it's like four or five different play modes. There's the original mode, which is just Vampire Hunter. And then when you beat Vampire Hunter, you which is just all around, you get all the magic, you have access to all the magic cards, you're relatively powerful attack wise and fairly formidable defense wise. But once you beat that, you unlock Magician mode, which is very cool, New Game Plus way to start the game. You start out, you just have all of the magic cards in the game, so you can use any abilities you want. Which Magician mode is fun because you can start over and just like, play through the whole game with one or two abilities that suit your fancy. Just fuck around or just dominate everything. Like, I beat it in like 5 hours in Magician mode. That was the fastest one. Like, that's one of the only modes where you can pretty easily defeat Dracula and not be strong enough to beat the battle arena. Because like the battle arena in that game, they kind of don't fuck around. They don't let you use the card system, and they drain all your magic. There's like ways to like kind of swindle it a little bit because you can use like high mind potions to get all your MP back, and then while your MP's like draining away, you can quick cast the unicorn card summon to heal yourself. And I was playing some crazy bullshit like that, trying to get through the battle arena in Magician mode, but then I was just like, let me try to beat Dracula, and I fucked him up, man. And I was only like level 40 something. I was super weak. It was a pretty fast playthrough for me of that game for this being the second playthrough. I don't even think I like bothered to grind to get the best armor and shit like that. But yeah, so 25 years ago I bought this game. And I've had it this long in the box, whatever. Fucking still have my original Game Boy, even though I've turned it into that boxy pixel that I've showed a few times. After 25 years, man, so I beat it on Magician mode, and that unlocked Fighter mode. And I got to the end of Fighter mode, and I was stuck on the last boss, and I put the game down so long ago when I was like 16 years old. I put the game down. And that was after beating it twice, basically almost the third time. And I guess it's because recently I've been playing through Castlevania Symphony of the Night on the Sega Saturn. I bought like a fan repo English translation disc for the Sega Saturn because I'm retarded like that. And I like playing physical so much that I'll even buy physical reproductions of fan translations so that I can play them physically on my actual Sega Saturn hardware, because that's where I'm at in life. But yeah, so I was playing through Symphony of the Night on the Saturn, and that's a different topic. Maybe I'll talk about that a little bit more once, because I don't want to get too off topic once I talk about Circle of the Moon a bit here. But shit. See, I'm almost forgetting what the fuck I'm talking about because I brought up Castlevania Symphony of the Night. But yeah, I think that's part of the reason that I suddenly decided to pick up Circle of the Moon again. But But yeah, I picked it up, and my plan was just to fuck around and just like run around and kill some shit, you know. And before I knew it, I just found myself uh trying to fight the last boss because I realized I like it's pretty early on in the game. You have access to the doorway because like right at the beginning of the game, if you've ever played the game or you're familiar with it, it's like right at the beginning of the game, you like confront Dracula, and you're there with like your master who trained you and his son. I think the son's name is like, fuck, I can't even remember. I don't give a shit. Anyway, their last name is like Baldwin or some crap like that. Anyway, Dracula's like, y'all are a bunch of pussies, and blows the floor up underneath you. Captures your master, drops the two youngins down a hole. Pretty early on, you get back to that room, you can, and it's like sealed. You got to beat all the bosses. So anyway, whatever. Um, I just realized I just went to the room and I was like, hey, I wonder if I can beat this fucker right now. And so I go in and he fucked me up. He whooped my ass. And then I just kind of decided to uh, see if I could power up and beat him. And I used my tactics from my other videos, and I'm going to do a little self plug here because maybe it's shameless, but maybe this is how I grow my channel too, right? uh, I will refer you to my other video where I talk about beating your backlog, because there's been a lot of other channels. So it's just like the first video is how to beat your backlog. That one's like 15 minutes because I fucked the stream up and had to put it in 2 parts. I might go back if I get a wild hair up my ass and like download it and whatever, or edit things. I don't really care right now, but there's 2 parts on there. But I think it's like some really good advice, like some actionable advice for beating your backlog. Because all the videos I've seen, a lot of the other content creators drop, because there was for a hot second when there wasn't much in the news. You'll see these content creators from time to time drop videos similar, like, oh, how to beat your backlog, how to do this or that. I've watched these guys' videos, and they like give suggestions like writing a list. That, sure, I like that. That's an actionable piece of advice that you can do immediately. The rest of it's just a lot of theory and feelings, I've noticed, like when people talk about completing your backlog, like um and a lot of it's just like resisting the games you actually want to play, this sort of thing. uh I think a bigger part of beating your backlog is more about coming back to games that you started. I think that's the biggest hurdle. So that's pretty much what my whole video about backlog beating. Just go under the live section if you want to check it out on my channel to see some of those suggestions for how to get after your backlog. But I'll tell you what, I use that same exact like methodology that I went over once I started getting back into Circle of the Moon. To circle back to the topic, see what I did there. But I looked up the strategy guide for it. I looked at where I needed to go to get the best armor. I looked at where I needed to go to where to get the best left and right bracers, equipments, because in that game you could basically equip 2 accessories and 1 piece of armor. The accessories were pretty much arm guards, bracers, rings, but you get the idea. 1 on each arm. And your armor. So I went and got the best shit. I went and grinded and got the best shit. And I'll tell you what, Circle of the Moon, that's one of those games, probably some of the most grinding out of all the Castlevania games. Gotta say, some of the most grinding. You really to get the best equipment, which you kind of need it to beat the battle arena. Ooh, you gotta sit there and grind for a while, and you gotta fight some really annoying fucking enemies. Harpies. They start out as harpies in the game, but there's a lot of like palette swapped enemies in the game. It's not like completely egregious, but they definitely like take advantage of that shit. And by the way, like I was drinking regular coffee earlier. I've switched to decaf, so I'm not that crazy. I got to get up at like 8 a.m. for work anyway, but since I already slept like fucking 4 hours, so I'll probably like keep streaming here for another hour, like 40 minutes or some shit, and then I'll try to go to bed, but it's gonna be tough. Who knows? I'll probably end up just being stuck playing games for a while. Anyway, Circle of the Moon. So after 25 years, I find myself grinding in Circle of the Moon to get the dark armor, to get the dual bracers from the dark armors. Oddly enough, there's an enemy called Dark Armor that drops the dual bracer, which is a piece of equipment that you have to equip both of them in order to get any stat bonus from them. But they're like the strongest bracers in the game. You just have to have two for them to do anything. Hence the dual bracer. And the dark armors you have to kill are fucking assholes. The best way to kill them is to get at them from below with axes, right? These are the same armors that drop like the devil card, which is fucking really low probability of dropping. Same with the unicorn card, but whatever. Yeah. So I got the dual bracers. I got the funny thing is the dark armors don't drop the dark armor. You have to go fight Lilith, which is one of the palette swaps of the harpy enemies. And like as they get stronger, at least with the palette swaps, as they get stronger, they do add like these additional hoop projectiles that rotate around the harpy that it shoots out at you and calls back in. It's almost like a bunch of chakrams, really, in a way. Anyway, that shit sucks. It's annoying. It's hard to dodge her attacks. There's a way to do it, but it's fucky. And you have to you sit there and grind. You're basically just throwing axes at it. I kind of wanted to do a tier list at some point of like all the sub weapons in Castlevania. I honestly think potentially the axe is S tier. It's across all of the games, it's one of the best weapons. I'm gonna be real. I'll make a fucking argument for that too if need be. But yeah, I just. I'm losing track of my thoughts here, but like, yeah, the damn stupid fucking Lilith, the succubus, the fallen angel, all those variations, and all of these enemies are like these special versions of the harpies, except for the fallen angel, Lilith, and like Lilum. They're both like hidden in walls that you have to break that take you to a room with a little bonus HP, MP item, whatever the fuck, heart item. And then they'll be in there. And they appear only after you've either beaten Death and or Carmella. So it's like, because what's interesting about this game, unlike, I can't remember, I think it happens in Symphony of the Night in some isolated instances. More the case where it's like sometimes in Symphony of the Night when you kill an enemy, like that's the only time that enemy will appear in that spot, or after a certain point in the game, certain enemies will appear in certain areas closer to the beginning of the game. More powerful enemies will appear. That kind of shit. A lot of that happens in Circle of the Moon. You get much more powerful enemies who appear, and it's interesting because like the game will kind of loop you around into an area that's essentially a dead end, but then you'll have a slide exit that'll take you back to the beginning of the game, essentially. but then you're surrounded by a bunch of really powerful fucking enemies. It's cool, some of the nuances to that game, which is something maybe once I do a playthrough as Thief, those are some things I'll talk about more because like I've really come to appreciate the game a lot more now that I've come back to it. Yeah. Anyway, I grinded for all that shit, and then I came back. I finished the battle arena in fighter mode, got the shining armor, the best armor in the game. The only piece of armor that's just sitting around in the game, actually, the only item, because every other item in the game is a drop that will like disappear after so many seconds, except for the heart, HP, and MP boosts. Those are the only other items in the game that are like static, you know? That's kind of an interesting tidbit that I discovered. Anyway, yeah, beat the battle arena, got the shining armor, and then I went and whooped Dracula's ass, and that unlocked shooter mode, which is a mode where essentially it's the same as Vampire Slayer, but you're kind of like all around a bit weaker, and your throwing weapons are significantly more powerful. Your sub weapons. So you're beating most of the game. You're beating the game with sub weapons. It's cool, and I'm at like the end of the game right now. Pretty much, I got the dark armor. I got the dual armbands. I have to beat the battle arena, but right now I have to go and farm probably some high potions and also farm my hearts back up. It's crazy how many hearts. Yeah, I got like 600 fucking hearts in that game. It's cool in shooter mode too, because if you collect 2 knives, 2 of the throwing daggers in a row, you get homing throwing daggers, which are pretty badass, gotta say. Not 100% reliable though. They don't always home in on the enemy 100% of the time. So that's one thing that's kind of lame. And in shooter mode, that's what kind of got me thinking about tier listing for all the weapons in the game, because like goddamn, the axes, I've beaten most of the game with axes, man. Beaten most of the game's ass with axes. So yeah, I'm excited to finish Circle of the Moon. I'm fighting hard. I used all the tactics I had to come back to a game to come back to that one, and I'll be excited to play through Thief mode and finish that mode and just like, I don't know, beat the game, every mode in the game. It'll be weird to finally finish that after putting the game down for 25 years, which is going to be the ultimate comeback and finish a game for me. Up until now, it was Xenoblade Chronicles 2, where I got 40 hours into the game, and then I came back and finished it 4 years later and figured out the story and everything because I wanted to play the third game. That was my crowning achievement for backlog comebacks. And now, I gotta say, so far, beating fighter mode in Castlevania Circle of the Moon is my crowning achievement for backlog comebacks. And if I beat the Thief mode, it's gonna be phenomenal. Although I don't foresee Thief mode being like that great. It'll be fun to get certain cards early on, utilize certain abilities earlier in the game, but I don't know. It'll just cut down on the grind time. I have a feeling I'll just end up beating the game a bit more quickly. Battle Arena might be difficult. Might have to level up extra because that one's like a sheer push through. You just have to you can't use magic, so be interesting. Be interesting to see. I might actually record that whole playthrough and put it on the channel. We'll see if I end up feeling like doing that shite. Yeah, so I've been playing that, and I've also been playing Ghostwire Tokyo. Those are the two I'm focusing on those, and I'm actually going to look here at my list. Let's see, Scarlet Nexus. I got to circle back and keep working on that. Undying Ranger. So I got some. That reminds me. I got some parts for my PSP. This is the new D-pad. Believe it or not, new D-pad, new button pad. Fucking all the shit from the PSP going forward. New controllers, including the PS4 controller. I think the PS3 even. I don't even know if I've taken apart a PS3. Well, yeah, I have. It might be. I can't remember. All of them are ribbon cables, man. All of them are ribbon cables with conductive membranes over the top of them, and then the button on top of that. It's all ribbon cables. It's no longer, which I guess that's a bit easier to replace than the way they used to make them. Undying Ranger. So that's what I'm working on the PSP right now. Triangle Strategy. I'm gonna have to circle back to the Switch for that shit. Same with Fatal Labyrinth. Expedition 33. I got about 6 or 7 hours into that game, maybe not even that much. And then I kind of put it down because I just have too many other games going on. Harvestella. I'm on the final dungeon in that game. Phantasy Star for the GBA. That's another game that I've been like circling around, coming back to over and over, almost all the way through that. I really want to play through Phantasy Star 2 and 3. Because the only Phantasy Star out of the originals that I've beaten is Phantasy Star 4, and it's an all-time favorite. And as some of you might know, if any of you watch the channel, which, I mean, there's nobody, but I like to pretend that there's people that watch the channel, so I just talk like there's people that watch the channel. They say fake it till you make it. So those of you who know that don't exist, I did recently pick up a copy of Phantasy Star 4, because it is one of my all-time favorite Sega Genesis games. It's like 90% of the reason that I even own a fucking Sega. Or 5 Segas. God. Anyway. Harvestella, GBA, man. Phantasy Star on the GBA. Sigma Star on the GBA. Castlevania Chronicles on the PSP. I gotta beat Bloodlines. Like, since I bought that whole Castlevania collection off that dude, I've been pretty much playing through all the Castlevanias. Dreamcast, I need to circle around, finish some of the stuff I was working on the Dreamcast. Like, I just recently picked up a copy of Skies of Arcadia. You know, the game goes for over $100. I should probably go ahead and finish it, you know. Unicorn Overload, Code of Princess. Man, I've got a hell of a list here. But, I mean, I finished Castlevania Circle of the Moon. I'm about to finish Shooter Mode. I'm going to add Thief Mode to the mix. But I'm hoping I can finish Ghostwire Tokyo next. That'll be a big one for me. Yeah, that's, I guess that's the recap of the games that I'm working on right now. I'm going to move on forward to a couple of the topics I wanted to cover, because I've been writing notes lately, trying to be a little more organized with the channel. I want to like do these chats more regularly, format them in a way where I'm basically just going to do like a recap of pickups and then games that I'm playing right now, whatever projects I'm working on fixing. That's how I want to start each live stream, just going over that. And then once I'm done waxing about that shit, I'd like to move on to the next section where I'm gonna go over random ass topics that I've been writing notes on, finding some tabs to look at for us during the live streams. And it's like, once I will eventually get this structured so that it's to a point where I'm basically doing the same thing every live stream and just posting it. Hopefully I'll be able to like split the segments up in such a way that I can introduce each one and easily be able to cut it out and make it its own short video. So we'll see. I'll get better at this, guys. So those of you, the handful that watch my content out there in the wide world, it will improve. Anyway, here we go. Talking points today. I'm going to minimize myself a touch. And we're going to talk about EVERCADE, guys. So, as you can already see in the corner here, I ream in the bumbleclot situation. R-Type, baby. Irene is R-Type. I want to talk about EVERCADE because I think that EVERCADE is fucking sick. I want to get an EVERCADE. That's kind of the next, after the Superstation, the next console I'm going to pick up is going to be an EVERCADE. And I want to talk about EVERCADE and a couple other companies because I want to talk about modern gaming and how we can all, because hold up one second. All right. I want to talk about another solution because, like, I'm a big fan, and I'm going to use this term a lot. I'm a big fan of actionable advice and actionable solutions. And what I mean by that is like advice and solutions that you can take immediate action on, that you can like see the route to taking action for it immediately. Because I've like worked at too many jobs and stuff like that where most of the time people are just like talking about how they feel about shit and whining, and they never provide any actual solutions, like actionable solutions. They'll talk about more communication, this, that, or the other thing, or they'll add more bureaucracy to the process as if though somehow adding more tape and more procedure is going to make things better and ensure that all the boxes get checked, let's say, right? So many channels out there, so many YouTube channels out there, they pretty much talk shit about just everything. Like their entire channels thrive on talking shit about shitty games. So every channel is constantly just building up these types of channels, and you know, I'm gonna do my best not to call them out because I don't want to make my channel about drama mama shit, but like it's pretty much all the fucking most of the major content creators thrive on rage bait bullshit, and they'll disguise their rage bait, but at the end of the day, that's what it fucking is. It's still rage bait. Uh, they're just waiting on the next worst thing, and even like some of the bigger content creators who cover uh dork shit, nerd shit like that, movies, comic books, D&D, Warhammer, everything, Magic the Gathering, Pokemon, all that shit. Even some of the much bigger content creators out there, you will hear them from time to time if you watch them regularly talk like hoping and wishing and waiting for the next super shitty show to come out. Like when the Acolyte was running, so many content creators were like hogs, like they were like pigs and shit, man. They were just rolling in it. Like, you know, like the old adage, the like some people just like rolling in the mud. It's like that's 100% what it was. And they're just waiting and wishing for these huge flops. And it almost seems because it seems like, and I get it, hate sells, outrage sells, rage bait sells. Like I like I'm so fucking tired of all that shit though. I can get behind some of it if somebody's like having a funny meltdown or ranting about something that pisses them off, and they're turning it into an amusing anecdote or story, making light, maybe even making fun of themselves. I'm all on that. I'm good on that. You know, like I still enjoy that kind of content. But I think it's worthwhile to go out and try to create some content with like some actionable solutions to turn away from AAA, right? Because that's ultimately the topic I want to get to is like, what can we do to like what can we could just save our money, right? But what can we do to continue our hobby and just not give our money to AAA studios, right? Like, because it's hard sometimes, like, oh, when you're trying to watch television, like, what's the alternative to fucking Disney or Netflix at this point, right? Or uh, the two or three fucking conglomerates. Um, it's very much the same with video games right now, and I think that an actionable solution for getting away from AAA and their shitty practices and their predatory uh, customer practices. I think that we can get away from all that shit by embracing some more of the fringe of gaming. I think like a good future for gaming is going to be more technologically limited consoles that aren't as expensive to produce. And I say this for multiple reasons. First of all, it's like it's already happening as far as all these handheld PCs go that have like raised in popularity since pretty much the Steam Deck came out. And then after the Steam Deck, the next kind of big one was the Ein Odin. And then it just kind of went from there, right? And then it was like Lenovo put out their own shit, and then it was just like this, that, and the other thing. And there's a bunch of different companies now that are in the mix. But there's one big problem with all of these handhelds is they first of all they don't have any actual media. They don't have any physical media. They're all basically designed to be piracy machines. They're all pretty much designed in a way so that none of the video game companies are making any money off of those devices, but they're very popular right now, and it's all piracy. Let's face it. Um, Thing is, too, is these devices aren't like top of the line, super powerful devices. A lot of the parts in them are like repurposed parts that were just sitting in Chinese warehouses, is the reality. So, like, a lot of them aren't terribly high spec. Some of them aren't. Some of them are. Depends on what you're looking at, really, and what company you're talking about. But the baseline keeps getting better and better. And I think that there needs to be more companies that make it easier and possible for indie studios and even maybe retro studios like we see here with the EVERCADE to publish on their devices. I think this sort of thing would be more popular with the youth if you could put out a cheaper console like the EVERCADE being a handheld. Except this is awesome. This appeals to somebody like me a lot more because there's a lot of classic games on here, and this is the sort of thing that I'd be all about. But for like younger generations, see, there's like we get some indie bundles here too. This should be like the big focus. Like all these indies, not to say there's anything wrong with these. They're probably pretty cool, right? Um, I would be pumped about trying them out, and I would probably buy this shit. Uh, yeah, this looks pretty awesome. But I'm trying to see if there's any recognizable indies. And that's the problem. That's exactly what I'm getting at. Is like this sort of thing really appeals to me, but if you could put out more of the popular indie games that appeal to younger kids, like I don't know if you guys have ever seen let's see if that's correct. Yeah, all right. Duck Game. Like this this is the kind of fucking shit kids are playing um who are in their teens right now. And this is just like a versus game where it's kind of like Smash, but it's more of a shooter, and you set the parameters and just weapons drop in. You choose the weapons, you choose the parameters, you choose the levels, you choose what weapons spawn, and as you can see the spawn points. And this is something I play with my nephew. Um, I have played with my nephew a little bit. It's pretty fun. It's a fun, silly versus game to just kind of laugh about. But those are the types of indie games that if they could just like get their finger on the pulse and then cut a few deals to get some titles like that, because that game's on the Switch and shit like that. But imagine if you could get games like that on a handheld, because let's see here. I wonder hardware. Let's take a look at the hardware. I want to see, there's a bunch of different versions. Let's see. Alpha. Okay, so that's cool. These things are sick, but what do we have here? All right, so $100. Yes, this is perfect, dude. Like if you are a parent and you want to like get something that's budget for your kid while at the same time, I don't even know if there's like a I don't know what the digital library is like. Like how much, let's see, 4 GB built-in memory. That's actually quite a lot of space for how big most of these games are going to be, okay? So yeah, I'm definitely getting one of these soon. So something like this, if you just had like Duck Game on here and then you had a way to LAN game, if you had a way to wirelessly connect and just being in the same room. Um It would be cool if there was online functionality, but I think that's too big of an ask. I think to keep it cheap. Um, I wonder if this one is what does it say here? Can you play multiplayer games? Let's see. The tape mode's really cool. So think I don't think that you can wirelessly connect. I mean, it has Wi-Fi, but I don't think you can wirelessly connect it. It would be cool if there was a feature like that, but that we'll say that the hypothetical console that I'm inventing in my brain has a feature like this, right? Just like the PSP did, the WLAN. So you could just connect and the Switch can do it too, like, you can connect local. Because the Switch, let's face it, even still, a regular Switch is like you get one used for $100, sure, right? But a Switch 2 is like whatever, $500. Like, if you have a console like this, that's a handheld for $100, or even just the regular version of it. Yeah, that's awesome. 89, 99, same. It's $100. Um, yeah, it's like this is an awesome alternative. You just have to get the right games on there. And I think if more companies started doing this instead of I think, and maybe this is a hot take, but instead of like wasting their time, um, instead of wasting their time making these handheld computers with these overblown specs, especially this is another point with the chip shortages that we're facing right now, AI eating up everything worth a fuck. Here's the other thing too, man. Like how much I'm pretty sure. Let's look at something sick here. Like Taito Classics, sure, but which one? I want something like here we go. This everybody's been kind of on Legacy Kane a little bit lately. How much is it? Let's see if we can go get a. Okay, that's weird. Oh, I see. I see. Fuck. US. Can I get it on Amazon? Yeah. Yep. Yep. So right there. Easy peasy. And dude, we're looking at the price is a little higher than what it says on the page, but we're looking at 30 bucks a cart, right? So cheap as fuck, dude. And a lot of the carts are, I think almost every cart's a multi-cart. Yeah, and depending on the size for the carts, you can put some fairly big games on them. So yeah, man, like I feel like this would be a smart way to go. If I were to ever, it would be sick if I could make some hardware like this and do physical media. I think they should go back. Like there's a novelty to it, man, and collectability. Like kids are still way into collecting stuff, dude. And collecting carts like this, having your own carts, save data, all of that stuff, dude. I think that there's still a market for a younger crowd for this sort of thing, especially like building more retro style consoles that are playing retro style games. They don't need to be high spec. I feel like this is like a market lesson that they overlooked and they should have learned with the Switch, man. Like your game console does not need to be the most powerful one in order for you to make the sales and shit, man. Like access wins the game there. So my overall point after like kind of going over the Evercade, talking about it a little bit, maybe if you weren't aware of the Evercade, whatever, this is something interesting. you could check out as somebody who likes physical media, or maybe you're just never aware of it, whatever. It's a great way to experience older games with hardware indicative of the original experience with some newer nuance. But like, this is one way that you can get away from AAA and still enjoy your gaming hobby. So moving more adjacent, here's another example of a way that you can still enjoy your gaming hobby and not have to give up on your hobby. Ugh, things have changed a touch here. So this is Incubate, and they basically publish indie games for the Game Boy Advance, Game Boy Color, and the original Game Boy. And they're constantly publishing new games all the time. A lot of these games come out on like the Switch network too, so you can play them. Uh, so you can play them on the Switch if you want. Also, you can come to this website and download the games digitally. Like you can get them physically, and generally speaking, they're around $50. Um, which weirdly enough, that's how much new Game Boy games cost in the box back in the day anyway, for the most part. So there's a lot of really cool games here. The Machine is a game that I picked up. I'm trying to remember. There's one other title that I picked. I don't know if I picked up another one from Incubate. I can't remember, but Infinity is one that I want to pick up soon here. And Zephyr's Pass. Oh yeah, Dragon Hymn is one that I picked up. I didn't get it from Incubate though. I got it from Chromatic, I think, because there's some carryover for both. But yeah, here's another thing. It's like you can get yourself, let's go to Chromatic real quick under Mod Retro. See Dragon Hymn. I got the Chromatic version. Tons of games here too. A lot of really cool shit. And there you go. They want 200 for what's essentially a Game Boy Color. You can go to eBay and find yeah, take a look at that Game Boy IPS display. This is a shitty this backlit mod. It's just a mod. It doesn't look like it's built into the display. Maybe it is. Yeah, it is, I think. But yeah, so it looks like the pricing is about the same for it looks like the pricing is about the same. Roundabouts, you could maybe find one for $150, an original Game Boy Color. Uh would just whatever. You got options. It'd be cool to get a Chromatic. 200's a little steep. I mean, for me, even if you do get a Game Boy Color, let's say you get an original one, you're probably going to pay at least $80 for one that's working. And then if you wanted to mod it into an IPS display, that'd be another 50, 60, 70. So yeah, for like $150, you could build your own Game Boy Color if you wanted. I mean, really the easiest way would be to, but I mean, think about it, you know, you get a Chromatic, 200's pretty steep. I think 100 would be more reasonable for this. For real, man. Like the EVERCADE handheld is $100, and bro, like look at this shit. 4.3-inch IPS display. What's it say here? Pixel perfect display. Sure. It's pixel perfect like the original, but I mean, for fuck's sake, though. Like, this device is vastly superior, much larger screen, which is typically the most expensive, uh, one of the most expensive aspects of the device. So I don't know. I don't think it's worthwhile to actually get the chromatic. You're probably better off getting an original Game Boy that's modified. Like if you can find a Game Boy for like $70, doing the mod yourself to put in an IPS display is pretty easy. And there's also like USB-C rechargeable battery packs that just pop right into the back and come with a lid that has an access port to plug the USB-C charger into. Point being, there's ways to modernize Game Boy Colors, and you could probably come in under what they're trying to charge for a chromatic. And I know what you want to say. Like I'm talking about all this just to as a like continuing with physical media, um, and a way to spend your money and enjoy your hobby, continuing to enjoy your hobby and get away from AAA. So this is another facet. You know, of course, too, you could get, I mean, right now for $240, the Analog Pocket just got restocked, but I'm sure those all sold out instantly, and people are selling them for 600 again on eBay right away. But uh, yeah, who knows? That's another option though, which I've got a Analog Pocket. I like it. It's cool. It's a great way to play Game Boy games on your TV on the original cart. That's the biggest advantage of it that I enjoy. It's got a great display and everything. Everything about it is pretty cool. I like it. But you can also play backups on it, ROMs on it and shit, which is also cool. But to me, sometimes it's just like I just have too many devices that can do that already. Once you have a Steam Deck, you don't really like need a bunch of other devices that can play ROMs and emulation and shit like that. Like once you have one solid emulation device, one solid computer, you don't really have to worry about it anymore. But yeah, that's another thing. It's like if Chromatic, this is the kind of thing that I'm into it. I like it. I think it's cool. But how do you get a younger crowd to pay attention to something like this? I think the best way you could do it is getting at their parents first. And I think it should be about creating like a cheap alternative to like AAA consoles that will maybe make it easier for indie companies to put their games on it for cheap. But yeah, that goes along with what I've been saying, like EVERCADE, Incubate, Chromatic. Those are three companies that, let's say, you want to keep collecting games. If you're into retro like I am, you can be playing tons of new retro games all the time by essentially owning a Game Boy Color and one of the Evercade consoles, and you could be having new games coming out constantly. Not only that, For like a Game Boy Color, you can get a multi-cart for $20 and that'll have hundreds of games on it, including every Pokemon game, you know? Yeah, there's a lot you can do, and tons of games and new games coming out. Even playing on older consoles, there's always new Sega Genesis games and shit like that coming out. It's like super like mostly it's Sega Genesis games, oddly enough, but there's like Super Nintendo games and Nintendo games coming out, shit like that. So it's like even if you buy like a Hyperkin or one of the three OG Hyperkins, you could still potentially be regularly playing new games on physical media. And if enough gamers like just start really getting into the hobby from this direction and just collecting hardware, collecting physical media again, we could potentially, just like the same way Hollywood is falling apart and disappearing into obscurity, it's like um it could be the same case for a lot of the big video game companies. And there's the thing, it's like pretty soon with AI and stuff like that, more and more people are going to be able to make video games. It's like it's going to become as easy for the average person to make their own video game as it is for the average person to make their own YouTube video now. Like we're going to get to that point probably in my lifetime. I'm hoping so. It'll be the same. It's the case with music, man. Like I actually kind of forgot. It's too bad I wasn't playing it the whole time, but like I generated a whole bunch of AI tunes for my channel here, and for some reason it's just like not playing any of it, which is always sick. But yeah, you get the idea. That's so strange. But I mean, that's the case with AI music. It's the case with um mhm. At one point or another, it's going to be just as easy for people to make their own video games as it is for them to make their own YouTube videos now, make their own music. Mhm. No, I see what the issue is. Or maybe I don't. Sorry, I just having some technical difficulties here. Let's see. I guess it doesn't matter. For some reason, like none of the music I have will play. The stupid media player doesn't want to do its job today. Forget it. All right. Yeah, that's pretty much. I think that's all the topics I wanted to cover. I'll probably talk about games under limits and Pico 8 fantasy console next time. Next time. Because I think I've been talking for long enough at this point that I might either I'm going to play a game for a little while or I'm going to go to sleep. It's a tough call. How long have I been going for? 65 minutes. I'm going over an hour. Well, I think I might call it a night, I guess. Got to get up fairly early. So, all right, gang. That's going to be it for now. I guess anybody who ends up watching in the future, hopefully, I hope that you enjoy. Hopefully, maybe you get some ideas for your own game collecting or a direction that you can go in as far as how you explore this hobby. Find ways to stay away from these bad practice, predatory, anti-consumer corporations that are holding all of our childhood IPs and beloved characters and franchises hostage and pretty much hold them against us and threaten us and tell them we have to come and tell us we have to come and watch, tell us we have to buy and play no matter what they do to it. It's fucking crazy. It's like every franchise that I love, just about every franchise that I love, unless it's niche and hasn't been like nobody's attempted to revive it. It's like all of it's just fucking Weekend at Bernie's, man. It's like these new companies get their hands on these IPs, and then it's just them like propping up a corpse, dancing it around, like some kind of twisted fucking puppet master, man. Shit's crazy. Yeah, but I guess that's a topic for another day. I'm gonna go ahead and I did start today with a modified intro, so I'm gonna use my original intro as my outro. So that'll be it, gang. Thanks for tuning in. If there's a future you watching, appreciate you all. I'll catch you in the next one. Jellord out.
Jellord.